that you have to click the picture. Okay, so each and every animal you have to click the screenshot. Okay. Now see how the question will be asked for this particular practical. I think I have added in my slide itself that question number 1 will be based on this particular group. These are nothing but the group Protochordata. There are 3 subdivisions. So all these 3 subdivision, subphylum Urochordata, subphylum Cephalochordata, subphylum Vertebrata, in that division Agnatha. Division Granthosromata is the different or the bigger division that will be asked in the different question. But in the case of question number 1, you will be having question based on this particular class. Sorry, is for this particular subphylum. So now how the question will be asked? The question will be asked identify, classify, giving reason. Okay, so animal picture will be given, but see the animal will be given other than the syllabus. So it is really very important for you to remember whatever characteristics are there. Is that clear? So now see you will be having question from Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and the third class Agnatha division which we are going to discuss. From that you have to observe the animal and state its class. Not only the class, you have to write. See here they have specifically mentioned that you have to say the class, so that means you have to do the classification up to the class, as well as if you are mentioning the class, you have to give the reason why this particular animal belongs to this particular class. Is that clear? Then this particular question you will be having one one need two identification will be there, each for 3 marks. Okay, so 3 marks, two question will be there. The total weightage for this particular A, B, and C group is 6. Let us start. First we will be talking about the group number 1 of the first. In general we will be talking about the chordates. Now see, when we talk about the chordates, so these are the most abundant animal and they are bilateral. Now we have already discussed about the symmetry in the previous sem, that there are various type of the symmetry: bilateral, asteroidal, and radial. So bilateral symmetry means if you will make two halves, so one half will be matching with the another half. Coelomates, that means the coelom cavity is present, and triploblastic, that means made up of the three germ layer. They have the complete digestive system. Now see this fundamental character, if it is present, and you have to by heart this three fundamental character, because whenever you are writing the classification, that time you are mentioning phylum chordata. So these three things should be there: notochord present, nerve cord present, pharyngeal gill cleft or the gill slits are present. Is that clear? So these three fundamental characters are very important to identify the animal belongs to the phylum Chordata. Subphylum Urochordata first we will talk about, and thereafter we will be talking about the next two division as well. Now see, as such Urochordates you do not need to remember. You will be having animal, and that animal's classification you have to by heart, but you must know about the subphylum, what are the characteristic which is making that animal belongs to that particular subphylum. Now see, when we talk about the Urochordata, so Urochordata, they are having the body which is covered by the test. Test is the thick covering of the body, and notochord is present into the tail region only. Euro meaning only tail. Okay. Now, as they possess a thick test, so that's why that particular test is called as the tunica. So that's why they are also called as the tunicates. Is that clear? Now, when you will observe notochord, so it is present only into the tail region, and to be very specific, it is present only into the larval stage only. They are the marine animal. They are sessile and they are the filter feeder. See, sessile is the opposite of the motile. Sessile, that means they are attached to one place. Filter feeder. Note down the term filter feeder. It means the animal, they are just taking whatever medium they are present, surrounding medium, and whatever small particles are present. Now, these are the marine animals. So, whatever particle or small things are present into the marine water, they are utilizing those as a food. So these type of animals are called as a filter feeder. Notochord, as name suggests, it is present only into the tail region and only at the larval stage. Retrogressive metamorphism. Note down this term. Retrogressive metamorphism. Retrogressive metamorphism means larval form. If you will see, they have the more advanced character than the adult stage. So usually, what happens in the normal metamorphosis? What do you mean by the metamorphosis? Metamorphosis means the structural changes, or you can say these are the developmental stages which changes an animal, or you can say which distinguishes an animal from their smaller stage, or in case of the lower animal, larval stage to the adult stage. Okay, so these changes are called as the metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is of various type that we had already discussed into the semester 5, but I will just brief is metamorphosis is of two type: complete metamorphosis and incomplete metamorphosis. Overall, when we talk about the animal development, it happens in two ways: either the animal shows the metamorphosis or a direct development example, the human, that baby do not have such characters which changes in the adult stage. Direct development, जैसे adult दिखता है वैसा ही baby रहेगा. That is called as the direct development. Incomplete metamorphosis, that means the animal, they may have only slight changes in their body. Like cockroaches, you will observe that then their nymphal stage, it resembles with the adult, but the adult are more advanced. Okay, but complete metamorphosis means the animal different stage are totally different. If you will compare the egg, larva, pupa, and the butterfly, all the stages are totally different. So that is called as the complete metamorphosis. Is that clear? But if you will see the egg, it is just a complete, you can say, a fertilized egg. It starts with a small cellular part, just a zygote, and it becomes an larva, pupa, and adult. So adult is the more and more advanced form. But in the case of the retrogressive metamorphosis, it is exactly reverse. That larva is the advanced form, but their adult is not having that advanced structure. That means larva में तो बहुत कुछ अच्छा नजर आ रहा था, but उनका जो एडल्ट होते हैं उनमें उतनी अच्छी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक नहीं दिखने में आ रही थी. Is that clear? So that is called as the retrogressive metamorphosis. Now, when we talk about this tunicates, so their body, it is having a complete cover, and this cover is made up of the tunicin. Tunicin is nothing but a you can say cellulose like material, and this sheet is also called as the tunic sheet. It encloses the body. That's why they are also called as the tunicates. Now, when we talk about the another character, that is most important character, nerve cord. So yes, they have a nerve, because if we talk about the first character, to be a chordate, they should have a notochord. So we have discussed that yes, notochord is present. It is present only in the tail of the larva. Second important character, that is the nerve cord. They do possess the nerve cord, or you can say nerve cord is what? It's a neural tube, but it is present in the larval condition only. what happened in the adult stage? So in the adult stage, that nerve cord, it replaced by a dorsal ganglion. Okay, now we all have discussed about the ganglion in the semester 5. What are these ganglion? These are the neuronal structure which controls the function, various function. Like we have a complete brain, so the lower animals, they do not possess the brain. Instead, they have the neuronal junctions. These neuronal junctions controls the various function which a nervous system should possess. So this nerve cord in this particular animal, it is replaced by a dorsal ganglion. Is that clear? Now, when we talk about their circulatory system, interestingly, their circulatory system, just like invertebrates, is of open type. When we observe their blood contains a blue color cells, and note down the name of this cell, student. That is called as the vinadocytes. What it is called as vinadocytes, and note down its color also. These are the blue color cell. When we talk about their excretion, so excretion I forgot to add in the slide. Note down the excretion. Their excretion is performed by, now see here, animal, although they are chordate, but most of their these are the protochordates, so most of the structure you will observe, it is just resembling like the invertebrates. So their excretion, they will not have the so-called excretory system. This function of the excretion, it is also performed by the cells only, and they have the specialized cells which are taking part into the excretion, and these cells are called as the nephrocytes. Then when we talk about their reproduction, so they are uh, hermaphrodite, as well as they can do the asexual reproduction. First we will talk about the asexual reproduction, then we'll discuss about the sexual part. When we talk about the asexual reproduction, they reproduce by budding. That means the animal, they form a small outgrowth in their body, and this outgrowth is nothing but a bud. And at some stage, this bud detaches from the parent body, and it settles on the substratum, and it develops into the entire organism. So that type of reproduction is asexual, because the second partner is not involved. It is nothing but the outgrowth of the parental body, and this bud develops into the entire organism. So asexual reproduction in the case of the Urochordata, it occurs by the budding. When we talk about the sexual reproduction, they are hermaphrodite animal. Hermaphrodite animals means the animals which possess both male as well as the female gonads on their body. So in the case of these animals, you will observe a new term is written in my slide, that is the protoandrous. Protoandrous means the male gamete that will ripe earlier than the female gamete. So this way they maintain. That means, see, the timing of ripening of both the gamete is different. So for that reason, they can do the sexual reproduction. So this is about the overall phylum introduction. But now we will be talking about the now since excretion is external and the cross fertilization. Why cross fertilization? I told you, because the timing of the maturation of gamete is different, so that's why they do the cross fertilization. Now class should be our main focus, because we have to write about the class in detail. Now, first class, what we all are going to study is the Larvaceae. See, student, in examination, if you are not able to identify the animal correctly, but you are able to identify the class correctly, so you will get full marks. Remember this. Just a minute. Huh? Let me have some water. Now, Larvaceae, why it is called as Larvaceae? Name से ही पता चल रहा है कुछ तो larva से related है. So the interestingly, they are adult, they retain the larval characters throughout their life. ऐसा नहीं है कि adult हो जाएंगे. And apart from all stages of the life, they will maintain the larval character. That's why they are called as the larvaceae. So when you will observe them, they are very much tiny marine planktonic form, and they are cosmopolitan. That means they are present worldwide. When you will observe their body, it is divided into the two-part trunk and tail. Their tail is very much large, you can see, as compared to their body, and tail is very much thin, flat. They are using this their tail to draw the current of water. Let us discuss about this example. See this particular Urochordates, all the animals you will find they are called as the squid. Okay, so example is the oikopleura. Oikopleura. Now see, I told you that how you all are going to write. You will be writing the classification. So phylum Chordata. Why are they called as chordate? Can anyone tell me what reason you will write? Yes, three important characters of chordate. What are those?
Notochord present, ma'am. Pharyngeal
Very good.
gills present,
Yes, one more.
and nerves.
Very good, Aftab. So the most three important character which distinct this particular animal belongs to phylum Chordata are presence of the nerve cord, notochord, and gill slits. Is that clear? Now, second, they belongs to the group Acraniata. Can anyone tell me why? Yes, Acraniata related to your cranium. Think about it and tell me why group.
Ma'am, cranium is absent.
Very good. No head, cranium, or brain. Is that clear? So cranium is absent, Acraniata. Then subphylum is Urochordata. Now I told you for Urochordata you have to write the reason. Body is covered by the thick test, notochord only in the larval tail, marine animal. See, if you are not able to recall all this, at least Euro means the tail you remember, bacha. So you write the notochord is present. Now chordata, that means nerve notochord must be there, right? So notochord present only in the tail region. If you don't remember all three important characteristic, that is body is covered by the thick test, notochord only in the larval tail and the marine animal. So at least you remember Euro means tail, Urochordata hai, that means the notochord should be present in the tail region. That is sufficient. So what should you remember? Body is covered by the thick test, notochord only in the larval tail, and these are the marine animal. Now class Larvaceae. Now only I told you why Larvaceae. Come on, tell me fast. Just now I told you na Larvaceae. Why Larvaceae? They retain the larval characters throughout their life. That's why Larvaceae. Okay. Now, see, for genus, if you identify genus, do not write any reason. If your name is so and so, you will not say why. Say example, my name is Saba. So why my name is Saba, I cannot say. Yes, I belongs to so and so family. Yes, so and so reasons are there. So I belong to that particular family. But for genus, you should not write in any explanation. Student does this mistake. Genus के लिए भी reason लिखना शुरू कर देते हैं. Do not write all this thing. Okay. Now see, identify and classify, giving reason. So if you are able to identify this particular thing, you will be getting 2 marks. But if you want more marks, if it is asked for the 3 marks, you should write its distribution, habit and habitat, length and color, and one or two characteristic if you remember. Is that clear? So see, all Urochordate, they are distributed marine worldwide, mostly tropical region. All are marine only, that's why they are Urochordate. Okay, habit and habitat, they are small and pelagic. Now pelagic region of the ओशन, दैट इज द ओपन ओशन रीजन में ये जो है पाए जाते हैं. देन नेक्स्ट इज व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट देयर लेंथ, दे आर वेरी वेरी स्मॉल millimeter. They measures 0.5 to 8 millimeter. They just look like a tadpole. Now when you observe their color, they are brightly colored. Usually they are violet or the orange color. Now when we talk about their characters, so notochord is restricted into the caudal end. Dorsal hollow nerve cord is present throughout the body. नाउ सी यू माइट बी थिंकिंग कि मैम आपने तो बताया था कि यूरोकॉर्टेट्स में नर्व रिप्लेस बाय द गैंग्लियन, इनकी बॉडी में ऐसा क्यों नहीं हो रहा है बच्चों? बिकॉज दे आर द लार्वेसिया, they are retaining the larval character, so that's why their nerve cord will be present throughout the body. Otherwise, in other case or other classes of the urochordate, you will not find that the nerve cord is present throughout their body. Usually nerve cord should be present throughout the body, but in other urochordate you will not find this particular region. They are larvaceae, they are retaining the larval character. Okay, that's why you can see the notochord is present, nerve cord is also present in the adult stage, but in the usually in adult stage the notochord रिग्रेस मीन्स वो जो है चला जाता है, और यू कैन से के वैनिश हो जाता है वो पर्टिकुलर स्ट्रक्चर. एंड व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द nerve cord also replaced by the ganglion, but here in the case of the larvaceae you will be observing both the characters into the adult as well. Now phalangeal gill slits are present. Body of adult, if you will see, this is covered by the tunic, and adults are sessile. What do you mean by sessile? They are attached to the substratum. So this is the first class. You have to remember any animal which is looking like a tadpole or which is having the two region, head and trunk, sorry, head region and the tail region. So immediately you should be able to identify, okay, yes, I can see the covering, that's mean test is present. So test is present, that means this particular animal belongs to the urochordate. Any animal, if the body is covered into the test is the outer transparent covering which you can see on the body of the animal. Here also, here also you can see that body is covered. So if you observe that yes, body is covered inside the test, that means it belongs to the urochordate. But in the case of the class larvaceae, you find yes, animal is having the two regions, so definitely it belongs to the larvaceae. Student, take the screenshot of this particular slide, please. Have you taken? Take the screenshot of this slide. Done? Let us go ahead. Now next class is the class SCDC. SCDC is the character of chordate found into the larval stage. Typical urochordate definition. That means the chordate character that will be found into the larval stage. Thereafter, you will be finding that retrogressive metamorphosis is there. That means in the adult stage, all the larval character disappears after the metamorphosis. Now, when we talk about their adults, they are attached to the substratum, but their larvae form, they are planktonic. And interestingly, usually we learn that the larvae are the voracious feeder. But in the case of the Acidiaceae, their larvae, they are planktonic and they do not feed. This point to be highlighted. Their larvae do not feed. Otherwise, in other case, what we learn that larvae are the voracious feeder. Now, when we talk about the typical tunicates or urochordate character, they have a sac-like body which is covered by the tunic. When we talk about their nervous system, so in the case of the adult, their nervous system is ganglionotrate. Ganglionotrate matlab their nerve cord will be replaced by the ganglion, and many other ganglions will also be there, and that is going to form the nervous system. When we talk about their appearance, so they are brightly colored, They may be solitary, they may be colonial mammals. Example is the CIONA, transparent sea squid. Phylum Chordata, what are the reasons? Presence of the dorsal nerve cord, notochord, and the gill slit. Group Craniata, no head, no cranium, no brain. Subphylum Urochordata, why? Because body is covered by the thick test, notochord will be present. Notochord will be present only into the tail region, and they are exclusively marine animal. Class SCDAC. Now see, SCDAC, it means they have a test which is having scattered muscle. Note down this thing. Test with scattered muscles and many pharyngeal gill slits. I repeat, the reason for class SCDAC is test with scattered muscles and many pharyngeal gill slits are present. Now their genus is the CIONA. Student, make habit of writing the points. If you will write the important point, that will be very easy for you to write your examination. Chalo, let us discuss about the distribution, habit and habitat, and length of the animal. When we talk about the distribution, marine will be common. Okay. uh, Now where do they find? They are found into the shallow marine water. Okay. Habit and habitat, sedentary animal, they are found attached to the rocks and they live the solitary life. When we talk about their length, it is approximate 9 to 12 centimeters. That means these are quite large. Color, usually bottle green, yellow green to transparent with the red pigmented tone. When we talk about their characters, so you can see their body is cylindrical and tubular in shape. Narrow, transparent foot is present, and they utilize their foot for the attachment to the rock. Now, see, when we observe their body, so if you will observe into the picture only, you can identify that they have a very soft outer core, right? So note down that their body is having soft and transparent test, or you can say the tunic. Now see, below their test they have a mantle. Below their test, that means test is going to be the outer covering, and below it you will be finding that they have a mantle, and they have the U-shaped alimentary canal. Their alimentary canal consists of the pharynx, esophagus, stomach, and intestine. What are the parts of the alimentary canal? What are the digestive part? Pharynx, esophagus, stomach, and intestine. Now when you will observe anterior part, they have 8 lobe branchial siphon and 6 lobe the atrial siphon. See, these are the siphons. Atrial siphon, they will be using that particular siphon for their, just a minute, हाँ, atrial siphon circulatory system में use होगा. And when we talk about the branchial, so they will be having role inside the respiration. Now see, when you will observe their test, the test is not only having function into the protection, but also it is having some accessory respiratory structure which aids into the respiration of the animal. When we talk about their sex or fertilization, so the animals are hermaphrodite, that means both the sexes are present, and fertilization is taken place external. Student, I hope you know what is the external fertilization and what is internal fertilization. External fertilization means both the animals, that means the male and the female, but now in this particular case the animal is hermaphrodite. So it can secrete the both gametes. What are the gametes? Gametes are the sex cells, like sperm and the ova. So external fertilization is a type of fertilization in which the animal releases its gametes inside the medium, usually in the water. Okay, in the case of these animals, the water is the medium, so they're releasing, and this gametes, they have the attraction towards the opposite gametes. So example, if it is the sperm, so they have some specific structure, because see, many animals will be there in the marine system. अकेले ये ट्रांसपेरेंट स्क्विड नहीं रहते हैं समंदर में, वहां पे बहुत सारे एनिमल्स होंगे, एंड मेनी एनिमल्स आर डूइंग द एक्सटर्नल फर्टिलाइजेशन. सो देयर विल बी n number of sperm and ovums are present. So how they are identifying, as I told you, in the case of the endocrinology, you might have remembered that they have the special type of the structure through which they identify. तो ऐसे कुछ special structure, or you can say the receptor they possess, with the help of that they identify that this is the best compatible gamete. Okay, so this way they are meeting, or you can say fusing outside the body. That's why it is called as the external fertilization, unlikely the internal fertilization, in which directly male is secreting its gametes inside the body of the female. Is that clear? So here they have the external environment. So inside the medium, the fertilization is happening, which is outside the body. That's why it is called as the external fertilization. So here in this particular case, the fertilization will be external. Larva develop from the floating eggs, and thereafter metamorphosis will happen, and the larva will develop into the adult. Student, please take the screenshot of this slide. We will go ahead. Shall we go ahead? Next class is the Thalaciaea. Now, when we talk about the general characters of Thalassae, they are the free-living pelagic tunicates. Mostly, you will find them barrel in shape. When you observe their outer core or tunic, so their tunic is transparent, their tunic is permanent and thin with the circular bands of muscle. See, student, note down circular band of the muscle, because this is the key point to remember about this class. Okay, जैसे thalassae, you have to write the reason for the thalassae test with the circular muscle band. Okay, so when we talk about how they are doing their system, so incurrent and excurrent siphons are present. Now their incurrent and excurrent siphons are present at the opposite end of the body, which they are using for incurrent and excurrent of the water, and with the help of the water, like invertebrates, they are doing lots many function. When you will observe them, so in their few species pharyngeal gill slits are found. Pharyngeal gill slits are found, it does not mean that the animals are lacking. See, I told you that they have the retrogressive metamorphosis. So in the case of all the animals, those who belongs to the Urochordata phylum, all they will be possessing the pharyngeal gill slits, but in all case you will not find that adult are possessing the pharyngeal gill slits, because they have the retrogressive metamorphosis. In the larval stage, for sure they will be having the pharyngeal gill slit. So in previous two classes, in the case of the Larvaceae, we have seen there is no such changes in the case of the larva and the adult. But in the case of the Acidiaceae, you have seen that the adult possess many pharyngeal gill slits. But in this class, you need to remember that pharyngeal gill slits are found in few species. Okay. Now, when we talk about their forms, so polymorphism is there. Polymorphism means they have the various forms, because many species are present in this particular class. They shows the alternation of the generation. Alternation of the generation means first generation by the asexual reproduction, second generation by the sexual reproduction. Now, what do they feed? They feed on the planktonic forms. Next, when we talk about their example, so genus Salpa is the best example, that is also called as the common salp. Phylum Chordata. Why phylum Chordata, student? Come on, fast. Now we have repeated it 2 times. Now you tell me. Why Chordata? Am I audible? Am I audible? Yes, I'm very much audible. Now you tell me why Chordata. Arshi, why do they belongs to the chordates? Yes? Sakshi, unmute your mic and tell me. First, why do they belong to the chordates? Yes, Nasir.
because they have notochord
Very good. 3 characters should be there na, for chordates.
and what
Notochord.
is it? Dorsal nerve cord
Hmm.
is there. Pharyngeal slits are present.
Very good. Others also, please be attentive and be interactive while the session. Okay. So they belongs to the phylum Chordata because they possess the dorsal nerve cord, notochord, and the gill slits. Now, when we talk about the group Acraniata, why Acraniata? Fast, huh? Please be quick. Do not wait to me to take your name. Why Acraniata? Acraniata.
Because they do not have cranium.
Hmm?
Cranium नहीं है.
Very good, Nasir. No head, no cranium or brain. Now, when we talk about the subphylum Urochordata, why Urochordate?
They have tails.
Can you be louder, please?
Because of the tail, they have tail.
What speciality of that tail? Notochord is present in the tail, and that too into the larval stage. Okay, so the body is covered by the thick test. Notochord is present only into the larval tail, and they are the marine animal. These are the 3 things for writing the reason. Now, THALIACEA, that is their class. THALIACEA is the class. Why? Because they have the test. Just now I told you to note this point, right? Test with the muscle band, circular muscle band. They are free living and they are pelagic. Three reasons you can write. So first reason you will be writing test with the circular muscle band. Second, free living animal. Third, they are pelagic. The genus is Salpa. Now, when we talk about their distribution, so they are, of course, Urochordates, so they will be marine. So they found into the shallow marine water, and usually they are found into the tropical region. When we talk about their habit and habitat, so these are the free swimming animal and they are solitary. They are found into the pelagic form up to the depth of 200 meter. Length depends 1 to 8 centimeter. Mostly they are transparent and sometimes They are found as a blackish brown. When we talk about their characteristics, so body is barrel shaped, body is covered by the thick test, visceral compact mass consist of gastrointestinal tract. Write down the parts of its gastrointestinal tract. They consist of esophagus, stomach, intestine, and gonad. I repeat, visceral compact mass consists of esophagus, stomach, intestine, and gonad. It is situated along the posterior ventral side. They exhibit the polymorphism with the alteration of generation, which is their class typical class character, you can say. Now, when we talk about their locomotion, so it is performed by the jet propulsion mechanism. See, jet propulsion mechanism we have already learned in the case of the sepia in semester 5, that animal, it takes the water from the mouth and they just exit water with the force. With the help of that, the animal go ahead because of the pressure of the water. So that is called as the jet propulsion mechanism. When we talk about their gill slits, so their gill slits attach dorsally, and they have a special organ for filtration. As we have talked about that all urochordates, they are the filter feeders, so they have a special organ that is called as the endostyle. That organ is the organ of the filtration, and that helps into the filter feeding. It originates behind the heart and intestine. When we talk about their anus, so anus is present at the right side of their body. So this is all about the urochordate. Do you have any doubt in urochordates? Shall we go to the next subphylum? Any doubt in this? Please take the screenshot of this. This is the last animal of urochordate. So you have to remember three class we all have learned: larvaceae, then thalaciae, and the third class was the ascidiaceae. So larvaceae mein we have seen that the larval stage, they have the adult stage, they have the larval character, and in the case of the ascidiaceae we all have seen body is covered by the thick test and notochord is present in the larval tail. They have the scattered muscle tail. Last we have talked about the thalacia. Thalacia, they have the test with the circular muscle band, and they are the free living and pelagic animals. So this is all about your urochordate. Let us start with the new phylum if you don't have any doubt. Sorry, new subphylum. The next subphylum is Cephalochordata. We will be talking about three subphylum today. So, of course, phylum will be the chordata only. Most abundant, same will be there. Most abundant, distributed everywhere. They are bilateral, coelomate, triploblastic, complete digestive system, and three fundamental character. Now anyone will forget, will be thrown out of the class. That is the note presence of the notochord, dorsal nerve cord, and pharyngeal gill slit. That you have to remember. You have to by heart, because see, the semester 6 we are going to deal with the vertebrates. So if you will forget these three fundamental character, that means you have learned nothing in the case of the paper 1. Is that clear? So always remember these three fundamental character. This is your fundamental of your paper 1. Is that clear? Notochord, dorsal nerve cord, pharyngeal gill slit. Now subphylum Protochordata, we have learned the division Protochordata. In that we will be talking about the subphylum Cephalochordata. What was our group? Protochordata. Protochordata we have already discussed. Now when we talk about the Cephalochordata, they are exclusively marine animal. It includes very small number of species, means live species. Many species are extinct. Lancelet or Amphioxus, they are animal of this particular phylum, sorry, subphylum. They are found buried into the marine sand. Notochord extend up to the tip of the rostrum. Rostrum is the head portion of the animal. There, just, and when you will observe that, just a minute, someone wants to announce. Now notochord, then notochord is extended up to the tip of the rostrum. Now see, rostrum is nothing but the head region. That's why these particular animals are called as the cephalochordate. Now when we talk about the cephalochordate, so this cephalochordata head region is present. Now when we talk about the head, so their head is having, as such they will be a cranial, कितना disturbance है ये? Actually that announcement is there. Chalo, let us come back to the point. When we talk about their notochord, so in the earlier case, we all have seen that the notochord, it is present only into the tail region. But for this animal, you have to remember the subphylum Cephalochordata region. Notochord is present entire body length, but especially they will be starting their notochord from the tip of the rostrum. Okay, head region तक के पूरा notochord रहेगा. When we talk about their nerve cord, so their nerve cord is present above the notochord, and nerve cord is having an exterior opening. That means it can communicate with the external side through an anterior neuropore. Mouth is present on the ventral side of the rostrum. Now when you observe their mouth, so it is having a special feeding organ. This feeding organ is known as the oral hood. Their oral hood contains a wheel organ, and this wheel organ will be having 20 to 22 smaller dot like structure, that is called as the oral cirri. When you will observe their mouth, so it leads into the large pharynx with the numerous gill slits. The body, if you will observe, so it is, now see, this is the mouth, and this is the oral hood, buccal cavity. This is having the oral cirri. You can see in this particular diagram. And mouth, it is only extended to the pharynx, and pharynx also, you please observe, pharynx is having numerous gill slits. When you observe the diagram, it is becomes very easy for us to remember. Now when you will observe their body, so body is laterally compressed and tapered at both ends with post anal tail, that are commonly called as the lancelets. Now next class, first we will be talking about the class. So leptocardi. Leptocardi, they are just like slender fish. एपिडर्मिस इज सिंगल लेयर्ड, थिक ट्यूनिक नहीं होगा इनके केस में. एपिडर्मिस होगा, एपिडर्मिस इज सिंगल लेयर, मैनी गिल स्लिट्स आर प्रेजेंट. नाउ एग्जांपल इज द ब्रांकियोस्टोमा. phylum chordata. Why phylum chordata? Come on, fast. Why phylum chordata? I told you, if you will not be able to answer why chordates, you will be thrown out of the class. So come on, tell me fast. Why chordate? Just now, previous like slide, Nasir has answered. Now someone else should answer. Why chordate?
As notochord.
Yes. Three condition, na? Notochord. Yes. What other two? Yes, Sakshi, come on fast. notochord, nerve cord, and gill slits. Don't forget this thing. Presence of dorsal nerve cord, notochord, and gill slits. Okay. Now this is also belongs to the group Acraniata. Acraniata, no head, no cranium, no brain. Then subphylum Cephalochordata. Why Cephalochordata? Because their notochord is present entire body length and the notochord is persistent. You can add one more point, notochord extended up to the tip of rostrum. This point is not given in the slide as well as your book, so note it down. The reason for writing the cephalochordata notochord is extend up to the tip of rostrum. Now class is the leptocardiae because the numerous pharyngeal gill slits are present. That's why they are called as the leptocardiae. The example, best example is the AMPHIOXUS. Their distribution is shallow, subtropical. They are mostly found buried into the sand. Their body is approximate 6 centimeter. When we talk about their color, so they have whitish to creamy yellow color with the pink color tinge. Now see, when you observe their character, so you will find their body is laterally compressed. Their body is bit elongated type and it is semi-transparent. If you will see their body, you will find from both the side body is pointed. If you will look them, so they just look like eel, or you can say body is having a fish type shape. Notochord is extended to the whole length of the body and nerve cord is present above the notochord, as we have seen in the other animals as well. Now, when we talk about their mouth, so mouth is present ventrally and it is surrounded by the oral wheel, or you can say the oral mouth parts, which we have already discussed as a oral hood. So oral hood will be having 20 to 22 sensory appendages, that is called as the ceri. Here you can see this part. They have a gut which is present below the notochord, and it starts from the mouth and ends into the anus. See, when we are talking about the digestive system, so you will be just noting about this animal that they have the digestive system. They have a gut which is present below the notochord, and their gut starts from the mouth and ends into the anus. You will not write the other part of the digestive system. When we talk about the fins, so yes, for locomotion they possess the fin. They have a vertical caudal fin, and you will find that their caudal fin, it is surrounding the tail. This is the tail of the animal, and this caudal fin is surrounding the tail region. V shape myotomes are present. This myotome is helping for the lateral movement of the animal while the swimming. When we talk about their circulatory system, well developed circulatory system is there, but animal do not possess true heart, but instead of the heart they will be having a simple sinus venosus, and this sinus venosus is only acting as the heart region. So this is all about your second phylum, that is the cephalochordate. As I told you that it do not have lot many class, only one class is there in this particular subphylum. So just click the screenshot of it. Now we will be moving to the third subphylum, vertebrata, and this vertebrata are the craniata. अब तक के अक्रनिएटा के बारे में बात कर रहे थे. Now we will be talking about the अक्रनिएटा, sorry, craniata. But in the case of the sub phylum vertebrata, for this question number 1, we have only one division, that is the agnatha, that is the jawless. Gnathas or gnathostomata are the very big division in which lots many classes are there. like you have the aves, mammal, reptiles, all that in that gnathostomata. So that we will be talking into the all five class. What we have usually learn about the this vertebrata, that is param, Pisces, then your amphibians, aves, reptiles, and mammals. So all that comes under the division Gnathostomata, and they are also called as the higher vertebrates. Now, this particular phylum, subphylum, Vertebrata division Agnatha, we ends with the Protochordata. Is that clear? So, Protochordata, that means they are the having the chordates, but they have the basic chordate structures. So let us go to the next group, vertebrata. Vertebrata have the two division that you need to remember. One is the Gnatha, which comes under the group Protochordata. Then we have the division Gnathostomata. Okay, that comes in another group. So let us discuss about the group Vertebrata and see question on that. Gnathostomata will be in the different way. How the question will be asked in that we will be discussing into the next class when we will be talking about that particular animal. Is that clear? So let us start with the group Vertebrata. When we talk about the Vertebrata, they belongs to the chordates. So they will be having the similar structure of the chordate, like most abundant. They are found everywhere. They are bilateral, coelomate, triploblastic, and they have the complete digestive system and three fundamental character: notochord, nerve cord, and the pharyngeal gill slit, that you should not forget. Now first we will be talking about the phylum Vertebrata. So the phylum Vertebrata, they are divided into the two subdivision, Gnathostomata and the Gnathostomata. So here this particular class we will be just discussing about the Gnathostomata, that is the journalists. But first, we will be talking about the vertebrates. What are the vertebrates? So, see, vertebrates will have a very special advanced structure. Their notochord that will be replaced by a vertebral column. Now, see, notochord is nothing but a tube, caudal tube region. But in the case of the vertebrates, their nerve cord will be prevented. Now, see, in the earlier case, we all have seen that the nerve cord is present to the dorsal side or the ventral side of the notochord. But in the case of this vertebrate, their nerve cord will be prevented or covered into the vertebral column. So they will be having, that means it says that exoskeleton का एज सच कुछ ये नहीं क्वेश्चन आता है, या दे मे possess exoskeleton, but they will have a well defined endoskeleton. Is that clear? So as the animal will grow, their endoskeleton will also grow. Exoskeleton के केस में क्या होता है बच्चों? As the animal grows, the exoskeleton, the old exoskeleton, that is cast off. जैसे कि ecdysis होता है in the case of the दिस अदर एनिमल्स के, उनका जो ओल्ड एक्सोस्केलेटन है वो कास्ट ऑफ होता है और उसके अंदर ही न्यू जो है एक्सोस्केलेटन बनना शुरू होता है. तो एंडोस्केलेटन में एज सच कुछ ऑप्शन नहीं होता है. एज द एनिमल ग्रोस तो उसका एंडोस्केलेटन भी ग्रो होने लगता है. Now when we talk about the group vertebrata, they are craniates. That means इनके पास में जो है क्रैनियम रहेगा. तो क्रैनियम की वजह से जो है प्रॉपर एक सिफिलाइजेशन होगा, हेड रीजन प्रॉपरली बनेगा. So civilization will be well marked. When we talk about their nervous system, so highly developed nervous system will be there, and they will be having the brain, as the class says, it is the craniata. So they are having a proper brain के लिए specific जो है skeleton होगा, that skeleton is called as the cranium. So that's why they are placed under the group craniata. Is that clear? So when we talk about their civilization, well marked civilization is there. Body के three divisions रहेंगे. Now what are these three division? Head, neck, trunk and tail, or maybe they may possess the legs or some other locomotory structure. Now first we will be talking about the division. In this class we will end with the division Organatha, that is the jawless. So these are very primitive type of the vertebrate animals, and they have all the animals which lacks the jaws. Now see when they you will observe their locomotory organs. So they have the pad fin and pad fin absent. Okay, so how do they move? Pad fin ही नहीं है. So skeleton, when we talk about in all the case, they will be having the cartilaginous skeleton. When we talk about, see, we had already discussed कि skeleton रहेगा, endoskeleton रहेगा. So endoskeleton is of two type. Either it is made up of the bones or the cartilage. So in all the case of the division Organatha, you should remember the skeleton will be cartilaginous. Embryonic notochord is persists into the adult stage as well. That means they do not lack the notochord in any part of their life. Seven or more pad gill pouches will be present. Now, first class is the ostracodermy. They have the shelled skin. Okay, ऑस्ट्रैको ऑस्ट्रैको का मीनिंग होता है शेल्ड. डर्मी इज रिलेटेड टू स्किन. ऑस्ट्रैकोडर्मी दे हैव अ शेल्ड स्किन. वेरी प्रिमिटिव एनिमल, बट नाउ दे आर एक्सटिंक्ट. मतलब ऐसे जो उनका कोई लाइफ फॉर्म नहीं है. दे आर द जॉलेस फिश लाइक एनिमल. They originated into the Paleozoic era. See, there are various era: Parazoic, Paleozoic, and Mesozoic. So, when the Earth, life on the Earth begins, that is 4.5 billion and around 4.5 billion years ago. So, first era was the Parazoic era, second era was the Paleozoic, and third modern era was the Mesozoic. तो ये कभी कौन से era में originate हुए थे? Paleozoic era. Now these are the freshwater species. They were now see they was ऐसा ही आएगा because this is the extinct species. They were armored with the plate-like dermal scale. That's why they are called as armored, means they were prevented with this. That's why they are called as the ostracoderm. They had small fins. Lateral fins were absent. I had already discussed you about this particular class कि pad fin absent रहेंगे. They will be having single fins. So they lack the lateral fin, but medial fin, as you can see in this class, was present. Interesting about this particular class that they have the permanent open mouth. Okay, so their gills were located into the gill pouch. Let us discuss about the example. Example is the pharyngolepis phylum. Chordata. Why chordata? Presence of the dorsal nerve cord, notochord, and gill slits are present. Now they are craniata. So what reason you will be writing for the craniata? Presence of the definite head, cranium with simple brain. Okay. I repeat, craniata में for this particular class you will be writing. In other class craniata में you will not write the same reason, because in the further classes when we will go ahead we will find that their cranium will have the complex brain. But for this particular class, presence of the definite head, cranium with the simple brain. Is that clear? I hope you have noted and you will not forget this. And then when we talk about the subphylum Vertebrata, why Vertebrata? Vertebral column is present. Next, Organatha, pad jaws and appendages are absent. Then their class is Anapsida, that means lack heavy bone shield. And you can even write the ostracodermy, that is the shelled skin. Example or the genus is Pharyngolepis. Now, when we talk about their distribution, just a minute. क्यों नहीं आ रहा है? When we talk about their distribution, so this as they are not present only, तो हम लोग simple एक word में लिखेंगे extinct jawless marine fish. Now, why you feel like they were there? Because their fossils were found into the North America as well as Europe. When we talk about their habit and habitat, तो अब ये extinct है, तो इनका habit and habitat कैसे पता चला? By their body. So they were slow moving and they were the bottom dwelling. When we talk about their length, so it was less than 30 centimeter and their color was brownish. When we talk about their characteristic, the first characteristic extinct genus, they have well developed caudal fin and anal fin. Then when we talk about their dorsal fin, so yes, dorsal fin absent. And see, dorsal fin are the main fins which are helping for the swimming. So as their dorsal fin were absent, तो इसीलिए जो पैलेंटोलॉजिस्ट उन लोगों ने ये अंदाजा लगाया होगा कि they have less stability into the water and maybe they were having the poor swimming abilities. Now when we talk about their pectoral fin, तो pectoral fin as such कुछ नहीं है, but instead of that they were showing some bony spines. So you maybe their pectoral fin have replaced with the bony spine, and they might be using it as a armor, and they were protecting it themselves from the predator. Then the last is the last class. Last class I have not written the definition and all. It is the cyclostomata. It is the last class of this entire group protochordate in our syllabus. So the last class is the cyclostomata. The general characters are they are jawless, they are the primitive animal, and they may be marine, they may be freshwater, यानी कि दोनों जगह पाए जाते हैं. When we observe their mouth, so their mouth is circular, and circular mouth की वजह से they are called as the cyclostomata. Their mouth is surrounded by the tentacles, and their mouth, as it is circular, they work like a circle. When we observe their body, so body is elongated with the laterally compressed tail. Here you can see the tail is quite compressed. When we observe their skin, so skin is very soft like fish. They have the slimy skin, and the skin is very smooth. When you observe their body, so they lack the scales like a fish. Body will when we talk about the skeleton, so we had already discussed in particular group all the animals will be having the cartilaginous skeleton. So their cartilaginous skeleton, they have the fin brace which supports the median fin. When we observe the pair fin, so we had already discussed about the main organatha that they lack the paired fin. Sorry, the example is the lamprey. Now classification will be same. I have not added the slide so that you can remember. Phylum is the chordata. What are the key identification of chordate? They have the dorsal nerve cord, they have the notochord, and they have the gill slit. Group craniata. Why craniata? They have the definite head, they have the cranium with the simple brain. Subphylum Vertebrata. Why Vertebrata? Because they have the vertebral column. Now division Organatha, paired jaws and appendages are absent. Organatha, no jaws. Okay, class Cyclostomata. Why? Cyclostomata, mouth is circular, suctorial, without jaws. I repeat, for writing the reason for the classification, cyclostomata, their mouth is circular, suctorial, without jaws. Genus is Petromyzon. Now, when we talk about their distribution, so usually they are found into the Europe, Africa, Australia, Japan and the North America. Cosmopolitan नहीं है, specific region में ही पाए जाते हैं. When we talk about their habit and habitat, so they are carnivorous. Sometimes they are found as the ectoparasite. Ectoparasite means the parasite which attaches themselves on the body of the host. So sometimes they are found as the ectoparasite. They are attaching themselves on the marine or maybe freshwater fishes, and they just now where do they attach? They attach below the mouth of fish. I will show you one of the diagram. See their mouth. I've seen one of the diagram. See this way. They are attaching near the head of the fish. Now why do these are the lamprey, this black color? Why? So that if they will be attaching near the head, this fish will not be able to eat them. Okay, and whenever, now why they are attaching themselves? So whenever this fish is eating anything, so whatever leftover food is there, they will be getting easily. They do not eat their fish and all. They are carnivorous, so leftover part of this big fish will be their food. So for that reason, they are becoming ectoparasite. Now they have elongated body. Their body is very long, approximate 90 centimeter. So just 10 centimeter less than a meter. Now when you observe their color, green brown, they have strong metallic luster. As you can see, their body is quite lustrous. So metallic luster is present when we talk about their characteristic. So mouth is surrounded by suctorial buccal funnel. This is used for the feeding with the horny tooth. Body is divided into head, trunk and tail. Nostril is single and dorsal. When we observe their eyes, so eyes are paired. Their eyes are functional and present behind the nasal aperture. This is the nasal aperture. So behind this, the eyes are present. They have the 7 pairs of the gill slits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the gill slits with well-developed branchial basket. They have the well-developed dorsal fin. So this is all about the division Organata vertebrata. Next lecture onwards, we will be talking about the vertebrata division Gnathostomata. That means the jaws animal. So for this note, for this particular practical, we'll stop now. Any doubt you'll have, you can ask me right now or you can write it into the chat box as well.